You may have noticed these signs or plaques popping up on buildings over the last 10 years. It's the Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, or LEED certification, which rates how green or environmentally friendly the building is. But what about how human-friendly the building is? We spend the vast majority of our time indoors, from homes to offices, schools, stores, gyms, and these buildings can have a profound effect on our health and well-being. So, taking inspiration from LEED, the WELL standard was launched in 2014 by a former Goldman Sachs banker, Paul Scialla. I met with Paul, the now founder and CEO of Delos and the founder of the International Well Building Institute, and I asked him what exactly the Well Building Standard is.
This is a complement to green building. We looked at the environmental movement, the sustainability movement to date, and noticed that most of the focus was on environmental impact, but not yet enough focus on how the built environment is impacting the human condition. So this is a merging of medical science with building science to best understand how to introduce preventative medical intentions into our built environment.
So how does one create that environment and improve all these aspects of health through architecture?
The Well Building Standard has 7 categorical elements: air, light, water, nourishment, fitness, comfort, and mind. About half of the program is operational in nature. The other half is architectural or structural in nature. Things like air purification, water purification, circadian appropriate lighting, biophilic elements, which is bringing natural elements indoors. So when you look at that in a holistic manner, you can begin to understand that the environment that we spend 90% of our time in, indoors, really can be conducive to better health outcomes.
Give me a practical example. How would you apply these standards to a building?
I think lighting is a really good category to look at. We've spent most of our biological history outdoors, waking up with the sun patterns, and we had a natural propensity to be productive and energized during the day and at rest at night. That is our 24-hour circadian rhythm. Since the introduction of artificial light, that 24-hour cycle has been disrupted. So paying attention to color, lux, lumen, to look to match more appropriately the bright sky we're supposed to be getting in the afternoons as opposed to being indoors, you can engineer lighting to balance the 24-hour circadian rhythm and enhance energy levels, mental acuity levels during the day, and sleeping patterns at night.
So what needs to happen for a building to get the WELL certification?
Basically, there are levels of certification that go from certified to gold to platinum. Preconditions need to be met in each category. It's kind of like putting a stethoscope on the building, measuring air quality, measuring water quality, circadian lux elements, doing both a quantifiable and a qualified verification of the parameters.
So you say the WELL Building Standard marries the best practices in design and construction with evidence-based medical and scientific research. What is the research backing all of this?
Well, I'll give you one good example, is the opening of what we call the Well Living Lab, which is a partnership with the world-renowned Mayo Clinic. There's a facility that's been built that has been built to modular construction techniques, so we can move walls and plumbing and lighting and simulate various environments. We can simulate a bedroom, an infant's bedroom, a cafeteria, a commercial office environment, a hotel room. And what we have is all sensory technology built into it, and biofeedback and biomedical devices to literally have people work there, sleep there, learn there, eat there, and be exposed to well-certified environments as we dial up and dial down these various interventions.
Well, most of us spend about 8 hours a day in the office. What would be the optimal office environment?
The optimal office environment would have circadian appropriate lighting, again, to stimulate mental acuity and energy productivity levels during the day and enhance sleeping patterns at night. It would have biophilic elements, plantings and natural elements indoors, purified air, purified water. People often ask, well, how can you influence nourishment by an office design? Something as simple as intelligent placement of hydrating stations, where there's a visible sight line to water. If people see water, they will drink water. If it's tucked away in a pantry in the corner, they'll forget to hydrate. So there are simple design intents that you can implement to encourage that.
You have some interesting names associated with this project: Leonardo DiCaprio, Deepak Chopra. How are they involved in this?
You know, we have looked for thought leadership across so many different sectors, whether it's leading doctors from these world-renowned medical institutions, former policymakers, folks like Leo DiCaprio, who's been a sustainability advocate for quite some time, Deepak Chopra, one of the leading wellness luminaries in the world. Every one of these board members believes in this well-building mission, believes in the potential societal impact, and the insights, the engagement, the involvement is constant.
Well, what is the potential societal impact? Why is this important?
When you can introduce prevention into people's daily lives, okay, using a vehicle that we all use 90% of our time, real estate, our homes, our offices, our schools, we think this can have profound impacts on long-term healthcare costs, long-term health outcomes. It doesn't necessarily require behavioral change. By being in a well-certified space, just occupying that space, you're seeing potential enhancements to your cardiovascular health, respiratory health, immune health, sleep health, cognitive health. The biggest challenge to healthier lifestyle is getting people to change their behavior. So a passive delivery of prevention into our daily lives, we think, has profound societal impact.
Paul, one of your strategic partners is Chinese real estate company Sino-Ocean Land. How are they involved in all of this?
They were very early to have a look at the WELL standard and begin to adopt the principles of WELL. They committed 25 million square feet of forward development pipeline to adhere to the principles of WELL.
Overall, what is your outlook for China?
Since launching a year and a half ago, when you look at the upwards of 300 projects in 23 countries, China represents about a third of all the project registrations. I think broadly speaking, we hope that well building will become normal building. It'd be interesting to think, you know, in a decade or two, if we look back and perhaps ask the question, remember when we didn't consider the human condition? So hopefully well building becomes normal building.